In the heart of Africa, where the Nile is both gentle and furious, an unseen battle unfolds. Beneath the water's seemingly calm surface, the absolute ruler guards the most important secret of its life. Nests of eggs buried deep in the burning sand. But its enemy is waiting too silent, patient, and merciless, ready to erase an entire generation with just one moment of carelessness. The survival war between the Nile crocodile and the egg-stealing monitor lizard is about to begin. At times vast and calm like a giant mirror, and at other times narrowing into a raging beast, the Nile is the great lifeline that nourishes nearly half of the African continent. The river begins its wild journey in the Central African highlands, winding through some of the deepest, most remote lands before emptying into the Mediterranean after nearly 6,000 kilometers. Along its course, its name shifts again and again, changing with each country and every branch it passes through. In Uganda, it is known as the Victoria Nile, a gentle, winding stretch that flows peacefully for dozens of kilometers before being forced through a brutal choke point. Murchison Falls, here, the entire mass of water is squeezed through a gorge only 7 meters wide, creating one of the most violent spectacles in Africa. But just a few kilometers downstream, the chaos softens. On that serene, glass-smooth surface, people whisper a familiar warning. Beware of still water. Because in the quietest places, the greatest danger hides just beneath the surface. Each year, when the breeding season begins, the entire Nile enters its most tense moment. Around 3 weeks earlier, the female crocodiles had crawled onto the banks, dug deep pits in the sand, and quietly laid within them the future generation of their kind. Contrary to what many people believe, female crocodiles do not incubate their eggs with their body heat. Once they finish digging the perfect deep nest and lay the eggs inside, they leave everything resting in the cool sand, where the natural temperature stays steady between 30 and 35 degrees Celsius. It is the earth itself, not the mother's body, that serves as the true incubator. A mother crocodile's job never ends at simply laying her eggs and walking away. The moment the eggs are buried beneath the cool sand, she enters a state of absolute vigilance. From that point on, the countdown begins. About 60 days remain before the tiny hatchlings emerge. 60 days during which these giant mothers must pay a heavy price. They have to fast completely. No hunting, no leaving the nest for long. Every action they take now revolves around a single mission: stay, watch, and protect. Despite the pressure surrounding them, these mothers live astonishingly long lives. The oldest female on the sandbank, her scales darkened by time, has survived for more than a century. Beside her rests a younger female, only about 30 years old. Their generations may be vastly different, but their fear is exactly the same. Protect the eggs from lurking enemies. From afar, they seem motionless, as if merely basking in the sun. But in reality, this is the most fragile stage in a female crocodile's entire life. Just one moment of carelessness is enough for her entire future generation to vanish. And now, the first shadow has begun to appear at the edge of the sandbank. Hidden beneath the color of the sand and the shade of the leaves, the female crocodile's most dangerous enemy is creeping closer. Inch by inch. A predator nowhere near as strong, nowhere near as large, yet armed with remarkable patience and cunning. The Nile monitor lizard. More than 1.5 meters long, agile and silent, it is a distant relative of the Komodo dragon, and just as ruthless. It has finished basking, taken a few sips of water, and now instinct drives it to move, because it knows one thing very well. The moment the mother crocodile leaves the nest for even a short while to cool down in the water, a golden opportunity will appear. The monitor lizard begins sweeping the area with its forked tongue, as sharp and sensitive as a scent detector. Throughout the egg-laying process, the female crocodile has unintentionally left behind biological scent trails around the nest, a mixture of skin particles, hormones, and secretions. For the crocodile, these traces help her relocate the nest after going down to the water to cool off. But for the monitor lizard, those molecules shine like glowing arrows across the scorching sand, guiding it toward the exact spot without a single mistake. However, the monitor lizard is not only up against the crocodile. Above the scorching sand, other eyes are silently tracking its every move, tiny but fiercely determined gatekeepers. They are the spur-winged lapwings and the kingfishers, two bird species bound by a strange and rarely seen relationship in nature, an unspoken alliance with the crocodiles. Along the Nile, flat sandbanks are ideal nesting sites for birds, but they are also the most dangerous places, filled with snakes, monitor lizards, and small predators. Most ground nests can be destroyed within just a few hours. And there is only one place predators usually hesitate to enter: the nesting grounds of female crocodiles. No predator wants to risk approaching the creature with the strongest bite force on the planet. So the birds choose to nest right beside the crocodile nests, a perfect living shield that no other bird species can obtain. In return, they become a natural alarm system, always ready to shriek loudly whenever a monitor lizard comes near. These birds immediately dive down, beating their wings and pecking straight at the monitor lizard's head. But it still isn't enough to drive it away. It keeps crawling forward, inch by inch, as if fully aware that the rich prize it seeks lies just beneath a thin layer of sand. Under the scorching heat, just a few powerful scrapes are enough for the monitor lizard to reach the layer of eggs beneath. Without a moment of hesitation, it begins the slaughter. The Nile monitor is the only creature capable of opening its throat, wide enough to swallow these large eggs whole, one after another, turning the entire nest into a feast no one can stop. It is estimated that these egg predators destroy up to 50% of all Nile crocodile eggs each year. A brutal figure, yet entirely real on this river. A harsh alarm cry erupts from the sentinel birds. Immediately, the mother crocodile whirls around and charges toward the nest at full speed, faster than at any other time in the entire breeding season. But everything is already too late. When she arrives, only scattered patches of disturbed sand and a few shattered shell fragments remain. An entire generation she had fought so hard to protect. Gone in an instant, brutal to the point of heartbreak. Yet this is the familiar rhythm of the Nile, a cycle in which nature shows no mercy. Elsewhere, a mother crocodile lies motionless on the riverbank, exhausted after the battle to protect her eggs and the newly hatched young. She slips into a heavy sleep, her breathing slow and deep, completely unaware that danger has not yet left this sandy shore. From the distant tree line, a different rhythm begins to rise. Dry, light, deliberate footsteps creep closer, one by one. Wild dogs, the quickest and most opportunistic hunters of the floodplain, have caught the scent of new life. That scent of new life is strong enough to lead the entire pack into an area where almost no creature dares to set foot. A bold move, and one that will surely demand a price. The wild dogs advance like moving shadows. The first one, the bold scout, slips onto the sandbank, snatches 2 hatchlings, and vanishes as if it had never been there at all. The mother crocodile remains in a deep sleep, her heavy body unmoving, completely unaware that the enemy is right in front of her. But the second one is not so fortunate. In the instant it lowers its head, the mother crocodile explodes upward like a storm. No warning, just the pure, instinctive motion of a perfect predator. Her massive jaws clamp down on the intruder in a single, decisive snap. She drags the unlucky dog straight into the water, while the rest of the pack erupts in terrified howls. Those frantic cries vanish instantly as the surface churns and swallows every movement. The wild dogs on the bank are almost powerless before the scene. They can only stand and watch, growling in despair, trapped between instinctive fear and the fury of losing one of their own. Not a single one dares to jump in to rescue it, because they all understand one thing clearly. This river is not a place to test your luck. After punishing the intruder, the mother crocodile immediately returns to her young. Without a moment's delay, she gently lifts each hatchling with her powerful, yet incredibly controlled jaws, carrying them down into the water. The remaining hatchlings are carried to the water by their mother, sunlight shimmering across their tiny bodies as they emerge from the sand. The moment they touch the water, they scatter instinctively, fragile but driven by survival. This is their very first moment of life. Cold, strange, but inevitable. And on this river, life survives only when watched over by eyes vigilant enough to follow every ripple. A dawn on the African savanna. Sunlight pierces through the mist as the grasslands stretch all the way to the horizon. In the distance, a herd of antelope moves slowly, their hooves clicking softly against the earth. Across the vast grasslands of the Serengeti and Masai Mara, the Thompson's gazelle, a small yet nimble grazer, always lives in herds of dozens to hundreds. They roam the savanna, grazing constantly, and they can never be far from the life-giving waters of the great rivers. But the place they come to drink is also the most dangerous. Beneath that calm surface, a cold-blooded predator lies in wait. Hidden deep beneath the water, the crocodile, the river's infamous predator, has been lying in wait for hours, perfectly still, waiting for the moment to strike. The fragile fate of the antelope leaves them with no choice but to obey the laws of nature, to come and drink, even knowing that beneath the water, death is waiting. When the water erupts, that is the moment a life is torn from the herd. No way back, no hope left. Beneath the surface, death has already sunk its cold, unyielding jaws into its prey. When the water erupts, that is the moment a life is torn from the herd. No way back, no hope left. Beneath the surface, death has already sunk its cold, unyielding jaws into its prey. The next moment will decide between life and death. You won't believe your eyes when you see what happens next. Here, the fastest is not always the one who survives. Meanwhile, downstream along the Mara River, a herd of wildebeest crowds the riverbank. Their lives are no easier than those of the Thompson's gazelles, just as fragile before nature, just as bound to follow the herd. In the Masai Mara Valley, herds of wildebeest graze on the fertile plains. They live in large groups, with the males guarding the edges, while the females and calves stay nestled in the center, moving step by step to the rhythm of the herd. Every day, they wander in search of fresh grass, then make their way to the river's edge to drink. In keeping with the laws of nature, once every year, the wildebeest begin their great migration. From the parched savanna to the lush green plains, they cross rivers, face countless dangers, and leave behind those who fall. Why do they still choose to face crocodiles, lions, and death itself, just to keep moving forward? Could it be that their very blood was born to walk, to never stop? Are crocodiles truly brutal, or simply following their instincts? Through human eyes, A crocodile seems brutal, ambushing, clamping down, dragging into the water, tearing apart its prey, all in cold silence, without a hint of mercy. But that is just human emotion projected onto nature. Through the eyes of nature, the crocodile is a vital link in the food chain. It simply fulfills its role. Patient, precise, surviving. No hatred, no malice, no greed beyond what it needs. For the wildebeest, nature is merciless. No matter how fast they run, no matter how tightly they stay in their herd, they still cannot escape the predator's grasp and the harsh laws of the wild. Do you think this is cruelty, or simply the natural order of the wild? Share your thoughts in the comments below. While the herbivores struggle against the great predators, there is another creature, high above, quietly watching it all. One of the most intelligent creatures, the baboon, simply stands there. It doesn't hunt. It doesn't dive into the chaos. It just watches. Their eyes dart constantly, memorizing every movement, every gap in the herd, every mistake the predator makes. But why? What are they waiting for? In another forest, dense, damp, and full of mystery, this is the Congo. A green paradise, but also a hell for the weak. Here, there are no endless grasslands, no open rivers, only a maze of trees and darkness. Every step sinks into mud. Every sound is swallowed by the thick canopy above. Whether on the savanna or in the jungle, whether in calm waters or deep muddy pits, the crocodile still waits. The only difference is that in the Congo, with its dense foliage and scarce light, the predator becomes even more unpredictable. The crocodiles of the Congo River are mostly Nile crocodiles. They live along the riverbanks, lakes, and swamps of the Congo basin, where murky water, deep mud, and a dense forest canopy make them even harder to detect. The crocodile's prey here is not antelope, not zebra, but another daring creature. The wild boar. The African wild boar, a small but stubborn grazer, often ventures to the riverbank to drink or wallow in the mud. They live in pairs or small groups, always wary of the dangers around them. But in the Congo forest, where predators lurk everywhere, wild boars have almost no place to stand. The crocodile, nature's master stalker, has been lying in ambush all along. Motionless beneath the mud, its eyes just above the water, watching every step of its prey. It doesn't rush, it doesn't need to chase. It simply waits for the right moment and strikes. That is the essence of nature. Ruthless, yet fair. Cold, yet patient. Here, there are only two choices: to hunt or to be hunted. And the crocodile is always the one who waits the longest to claim its victory. What do you think? Is it brutality or simply the natural order? Share your thoughts in the comments below.